Hey, and welcome to the Winning Daily Show. It's a big time show today. The kickoff of the real college football season begins today, and we got a handful of really good games tonight to get into. I don't totally have a whole lot of bets on any of those good ones. We got a lot of bets on a lot of bad ones, but anyway, it should be a good night to kick off college football. Our man Dynamite David has some college football picks to get into as well. But before that, we got some Major League Baseball. We got some U.S. Open, both on the men's and women's side. And we got a little bit more World Cup qualifying to get into today. Could not find quite as much good World Cup qualifying matchups today, but we do got a couple we really like here. So let's kick it off with some Major League Baseball. We got two picks today. We're going to start out with the Pittsburgh Pirates plus 115 versus the Chicago Cubs here. And this is just going to be a straight play on the Cubs, who have won two in a row, three of the last four. Meanwhile, the Pirates have lost four of the last five. Overall, the Cubs have won two straight on Pittsburgh. So we're just playing the odds here that Pittsburgh is due for a win. Pitching matchup wise, not a ton of real separation here. Both sort of mediocre pitchers. I guess you could say Keegan Thompson is a much better pitcher than Mitch Keller, but neither I would call all that great pitchers. We're just going to ride and think Pittsburgh is due here, and a nice little plus 115 on a very bad Cubs team playing a very bad Pirates team, so really you don't know. And then we're going to move on to the Philadelphia Phillies minus 155 versus the Washington Nationals. This should be straight up easy, good team versus bad team. The Phillies are hot again. Been on a real big winning streak here, five in a row. The Nationals, on the other hand, have lost four in a row. So let's see if the Phillies can continue their hot streak as the Braves continue their cold streak, and see if the Phillies can try to catch the Atlanta Braves in that NL East. But I think this one's pretty easy with Aaron Nola on the hill today versus the Washington Nationals, Paulo Espino. So I think this one's a pretty easy one, and you're getting a nice little line there at minus 155. Not as much juice as I would typically think. So we're going to ride the Philadelphia Phillies at minus 155. All right, let's get into some U.S. Open. We got Mackenzie McDonald at plus 125 versus Kei Nishikori here. Interesting matchup here. We've taken this one, I believe, both times. We might not have hit up that tournament before, but Mackenzie McDonald, I know we took Mackenzie versus Kei Nishikori in Washington, D.C. He won that one 6-4, 3-6, 7-5. We just like this matchup. I think Mackenzie McDonald right now is a better player. So we're going to ride Mackenzie McDonald, getting a little bit of plus here at plus 125, and have him take that win over Kei Nishikori. Next up, we're going with the Galmont v. Steve Johnson matchup. We don't have a pick on who's going to win this one, but we like the over 38.5 games. Both these sort of tend to play long set matches, certainly as the tournament gets deeper and deeper. The last time they played in Stuttgart in a three-setter, they went 7-5, 5-7, 7-6. So if we can get anything like that in this five-set type performance between Gael Monfils and Steve Johnson, then we should have a good one. But I think this will be a long 4 or 5 set match that will definitely have a whole lot of close sets. So I'm going to ride the over, even though it's a little bit higher than I'd like. I think they do go over that 38.5 games. And next we're going with the UCLA kid who's been probably the most fun of the U.S. Open tournament, Maxime Cressy, plus 3.5 versus Nicolo Bashvili. Just think this kid will be able to hang here, and his interesting sort of serve and volley play style will play well here and get him close enough versus Bashvili, who hasn't really played all that well coming into this tournament. Had a first round loss to Fogioni in that Cincinnati Masters tournament. Creasy's been on a little bit of a run here as he rode through the qualifiers and qualified there, and then the big upset the other day versus Pablo Bautista. So nice win there. We think this one will be close. We're going to take the handicap here and take Maxime Cressy plus 3.5 here. So that does it for the men's side of things. On the women's side of things, we're going to start with Greenlightnetwork plus 175 versus Ludmila Samsonova. Like this matchup here versus Samsonova. Think there's good value here. Definitely think this matchup benefits us. Creasy Minin has been a little bit better than Samsonova on the head-to-head. So we're going to ride Grint Minin and the plus 175. If you notice, there's going to be a pattern here as we're going to take all these people who have plus and have better head-to-head records. Next up, we're going to take Sue Wee Hish plus 160 versus Sarah Sorbos Tormo. Really like this one. This is probably my favorite one overall. Just think this is a really good one. We have Sue Wee Hish, who's 3-0 all-time versus Sorbos Turnmo, and all over the type of hard court. She has a hard court win in New Zealand. She has a hard court win in Connecticut, and she has a hard court win in Hungary. So she's been in Europe, she's been in America, she's been in the Pacific Islands, and she's somehow managed to beat her on all hard courts, and yet she's still getting plus. So I really like that value here at plus 160. And then we're Xiao Zhang plus 115, not quite as much as the other two, but she also has a head-to-head win, and one that she just won in the Stanford tournament just about a month ago. She beat Emma Ranku 6-3, 6-2. So I think this should be a pretty straightforward, and you're getting a nice little plus 115. So overall with the women, we're just going to ride the head-to-head matchups here, all getting plus, all have more head-to-head wins. A couple of them have never been beat by the other. So we're going to take those three, Minin, Hish, and Zhang today, plus 175, plus 160, and plus 115. All right, let's get into some college football. First up, we're going to go to our man, Dynamite David, for his picks on Thursday and Friday.
Dynamite Picks. Boom goes the dynamite.
Dynamite David here with your picks for Thursday, September 2nd, and Friday, September 3rd. First off, in one of the best matchups of the night, I like App State minus 9.5 versus Eastern Carolina. I also like the under in that game, under 56. I think App State's going to win, but it's still going to be a relatively low-scoring game. Next up, probably the biggest game of the night tonight, I like UCF minus 5 at home against Boise State. I like this UCF team. I think Gus Malzahn's going to be doing good things there. I'm also going to take the under in that game. I think it's a little inflated at 68.5. I don't think these teams are going to quite score that much. And then finally, one last game for today. I secured it a little bit early, so the line was small, but I've got Western Kentucky minus 9.5 versus Tennessee Martin. Now that line's at minus 22. Still may be a good pick, but I'm definitely sticking with my 9.5 there. And then I only have one pick for tomorrow, Friday, September 3rd. I'm taking North Carolina minus 5.5 at Virginia Tech. Back to you, champ.
All right. Thank you, Dynamite David. You're looking very Richard Hamilton, Andy Warhol, pop art-esque there. So thanks for those picks. My picks for Thursday, we're going to start out with NC State minus the 19.5 versus South Florida. I don't love taking these big spreads, but especially when we could have gotten this at probably 16.5 a little earlier. I really would like it at the 17, but I just think this is going to be a blowout. South Florida was really poor last year. I think they continue that trend of being really poor and giving up a whole lot of points. To close the year, they gave up 58 to UCF, 56 to Houston, 34 to Memphis, 42 to Tulsa, and 39 to Temple. So with this big NC State offense, I look for NC State to get into the 40s and 50s and be able to cover this point spread even with their poor defense. I don't think South Florida will have the offense to get there. So I look for something probably in the 40s to 20s. I would really be staring at that NC State over, especially if you can get the 38.5 or the 42.5. I think both those are pretty good values. I might drop a little bit on those a little bit later, but we're just going to ride the spread here and and NC State on the 19.5 to start things out. Next up, we're going to take the Citadel plus 35 versus Coastal Carolina. Really like this bet. The Citadel, while not an exciting team and tends to lose a lot, they do tend to cover really big spreads. They have a style of play that lets them stay in games. If you've looked at them play, they played a 14-9 game versus Army. They played a 27-6 game versus South Florida. I believe 2 years ago, they had a 3-point game versus Georgia Tech. So they can sort of match up and keep games close with their style of play. I don't think Coastal Carolina really will push the envelope too much. They'll get a big win here, but I don't think they cover that 35. So I really do like the plus 35 with the Citadel here. Next up, the big game of the day, the one big one I'm going to take the Minnesota plus 14 here. I think they get control of this game. I think this is a tough way to open up in conference play. So I do think we get a good, tight conference opening day game on Thursday night in Minnesota. I probably prefer it to be in about a month or two when the weather gets really bad and windy. But anyway, we'll take it. Plus 14 Minnesota over Ohio State. And then we're going to put a little bit on the money line here at plus 500 and see if we can get that close game and then maybe live bet a middle in there and be able to win money on the side of Ohio State, getting a little bit lower money line. But that plus 500 money line are also going to ride on Minnesota. So Minnesota plus 14, Ohio State plus 500 money line. And lastly, we're going to take the UT Martin Western Kentucky. We're going to take the under 57 on that one. Really think that's really good value. If you've looked at Western Kentucky play, they aren't a huge offensive team, but really you're playing on Tennessee Martin, who has not been capable of scoring points really at all. They scored 0 on Florida 2 years ago, and then 7 on Kentucky in that same year. And then the year before that, they played Missouri and scored 14. So they just aren't really a capable subdivision team of scoring points. And then you're asking Western Kentucky to pretty much score 50, 60 points in that kind of game, and I don't think they will be able to do that. So I'm going to ride the under 57 on Western Kentucky here, and that's what we got for football on Thursday night. We'll have some more action as well for Friday's games, and of course, our football time show, Dynamite David, will be with us later today. We'll drop that show with all our picks for Saturday, so be sure to tune in for that. Lastly, we got a couple World Cup qualifying matchups to close out the winning daily show. We're going to start out with Canada on the handicap -1, plus 155 versus Honduras. Really like this here. If you've watched Canada play, they're capable of scoring a lot of goals. They've scored multiple goals in 3 of their last 5 games. They really are capable of beating these sort of small countries, though Honduras is a little bit better than some of the other ones, but they had a 2-0 win versus Costa Rica. They're coming off a 4-1 versus Haiti and a 4-1 versus Martinique. So they can get a lot of goals in that CONCACAF Gold Club. I think at home versus Honduras, they'll be able to do that. Head-to-head wise, they have not played much, so you can't really go off anything. The last time they played was in 2017, so these are totally different teams. Meanwhile, Honduras has given up multiple goals in 4 of the last 5 games, 3 to Mexico, 2 to Qatar, 2 to Panama, and that I think shows you that Canada will be able to get goals. I think they'll be able to cover this spread, especially since Canada will need this win with a matchup versus the American team coming up next. Both them and the Americans will be looking to get some points here before they have to play each other in a really tough matchup. Next up, we're going to go to Europe, and we're going to take Hungary on the double chance here, plus 200. So we got Hungary and the tie, plus 200 versus England. And I really like this, the game in Budapest here. I think England will struggle going across the country here. If you look at how Hungary closed out that Euro Championship, a 2-2 tie with Germany, a 1-1 tie with Hungary. So they're a little bit frisky here. If you go back to like friendlies, they have a 0-0 tie versus the Republic of Ireland, a 1-0 game versus Cyprus. So they really slow and mug this game up. And I think they can do that with England, especially England coming to Hungary. Also, England's in a very, very weak group, so they wouldn't probably worry too much if they could get out there with a tie. So I really like that double chance, Hungary plus 200. And then lastly, we're going to Sweden, plus 210, and we're going to take the draw no bet for Spain. I really think this Sweden team has something here. They had a nice little run in the Euros before losing to Ukraine. Now, that was a bit disappointing, but these two played in the Euros that first opening day, and it was a 0-0 tie. And I believe Sweden had more chances than Spain in that game. So I really think Sweden had a chance to take the lead in that first half. They just missed a goal. But I think this is a good matchup for Sweden. Once again, Spain's going to Sweden here. And if you've looked at the last two matchups these two teams have played, you have a 0-0 and you have a 1-1. So it's not like Spain and Sweden. It's a big mismatch here. So maybe put a little bit here, see if you can get a nice little plus 210, protect yourself on the draw no bet, and take Sweden here. All right, that's Winning Daily for the day. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our shows on the Greenlight Network. Football Time is coming to you later today. I mentioned we have our picks and preview show. Then Friday, we're going to drop our NFL preview with Achilles reign, NFC North, AFC North. That should be a good one. And then Saturday, we'll have our show Winning Daily once again to make sure we have all our football picks in line with a whole action-packed Saturday ahead of us. So be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube video so you don't miss any of the action on Greenlight Network. I'm Champ Chesterfield. That's our show, and we're out.